Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your hosts, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Covering the latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011, you are checking out episode number 1062 of the RCWR Show for this Monday night of December 4th, 2023. Audio check. We're good. It looks like my settings have been saved because I know the past two streams we were hot. But that is not the issue tonight. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. Here it is. It is the month of December. This is it. This is the final calendar month of 2023, as 2024 is literally right around the corner. Are you guys excited? Can you maybe get excited? I mean, hopefully you guys got a lot of good things to look forward to in this calendar year. Hey, let me know what you guys had thought about tonight's WWE RAW. I did not have time to put up a poll to ask you guys throughout social media. Two reasons. One, I was busy shaving my face as I've let my facial hair come out a little bit within the past couple of weeks. About 2 weeks, roughly. I stopped shaving for about 2 weeks. And I was seeing a lot of gray. And my wife goes, oh, you're growing your beard back, huh? I said, yeah, not quite yet. And I finally had the courage, or not the courage, but I finally had mustered up the energy to finally shave and everything. So I don't know. Maybe I'll let the facial hair come back in the new calendar year. I've been kind of itching to maybe let the facial hair grow back out. So, we'll see. We'll see how it goes and everything. And then, look, we may do a short show tonight because let me tell you something. I don't know how many of you guys have a Roy Rogers restaurant in your respective neck of the woods, but over here in the DMV, we have a couple. It's mainly one of those, the further down south you go, you're going to come across them and everything. And they always bust it out for a limited time. They've got like this little mini steak and cheese sandwich, okay? So I had that last night, and probably about maybe an hour after I ate it. Again, this was Sunday night, okay? After I ate a little tiny little thing, little small hoagie sandwich. I mean, it is like, for those of you that have seen a pair of eyeglasses in a case of eyeglasses, that's literally, and those of you that know the sandwich I'm talking about, you can attest to it. It's literally that small of a sandwich, okay? It's gone like that. I have been having problems since then, if you catch my drift, all throughout today. I'm going, the hell is going on? So I said to my wife, I said, yo, I don't know what is going on. I said, but that sandwich I had the night before, it is really, really kicking me inside and out. It's tearing me up big time. And I asked her, I said, which Roy Rogers did you go to? Oh, I went to the one down the street. I'm like, no wonder. That Roy Rogers is hit and miss. So this may be a short show. We'll see what happens. I did take some Tums. I've been sipping on some water off and on and everything. We'll see how it all works out. Hopefully I'll be okay and everything. Main event, Jey Uso. Yeet! Coming oh so close, but no cigar. I got to tell you, that was a very solid main event match for WWE RAW tonight. And I'm sure many of you guys were like, hey, wait a minute, what about CM Punk? What about CM Punk? What's the latest chapter in CM Punk? What's going on with the man? What's going on with the voice of the voiceless? Well, we didn't have CM Punk tonight, which I gotta say, I was slightly disappointed. I gotta admit, I was slightly disappointed that we did not get an appearance by CM Punk, but WWE is making up for it as we're gonna get him on, and I think this is the first time in a handful of years that they're doing a live tribute to the troops edition of SmackDown. Normally, the way Vince McMahon has done it when he was at the helm and everything, normally the way that they would do this, they would actually film tribute to the troops sometime in late October going into November, and then they would air that episode accordingly in December. But it looks like with the new regime, no, we're just going to go on ahead. We're going to switch it up. Hey, I like that, especially if it means that the men and women and everybody involved in the production crew, writers and everybody, if it means they are going to be able to get some extra time off to be with their loved ones and everything, then you know what? I am all fine for it when it's said and done. I'm all fine for it. But, yeah, so CM Punk's going to be on this Friday SmackDown, so make sure you set your DVRs. We got Randy Orton, who has, in storyline, he is now exclusive to the Blue brand. So, kind of gives you another reason. If you still have not been watching SmackDown as of late, now you kind of got those little bit of incentives to go and check it out, see what you've been missing and everything. So, but no CM Punk tonight. You know what? No problem. We had main event Jey Uso taking on Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. I love the main event match, but I've just got one little bone of an issue. This might not be a big deal for anybody else, but it is a big deal to me. Stay with me here, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about because I'm connecting the dots here. So keep the main event in your mind. Keep in your mind as well, hey, I kind of had a problem with the main event, right? Everything ties into Drew McIntyre. Now, for those of you that didn't watch the show tonight, let me explain. So we open up the show with Drew McIntyre, who is still pretty salty about everything that had came about from last week, where Sami Zayn was trying to give Drew, man, no disrespect to the brother. Man, no disrespect to the brother. He was coming at him and just giving him that dose of truth serum. Letting him know, dude, this pity party that you've been throwing, on yourself for all these months, like, dude, you see what's been going on with me? Like, you need to freaking man up already and just, right, dust yourself off. Royal Rumble's around the corner. Just Drew, on the other hand, the way he kind of took that was, as we saw last week, it was entirely out of context. Okay, boom, this sets up the match for tonight and everything, okay? And we still had Drew come out. Now that it's been over a week, you would think that maybe Drew McIntyre has gotten a little bit reflective in the days since he last spoke to Sami. Maybe he is feeling a little bit remorseful at the way that he came at Sami, but no, he doubles down and is pretty much going, yeah, you know what? Far as everyone losing their minds, we've got liars, hypocrites, cowards, and just plain idiots. Apparently, you can say a whole bunch of crap, leave the company, do what you want, come on back, and you're instantly forgiven these days. And that made the crowd popped big time as they start chatting CM Punk. Drew lets them know, that can just be in regards to anybody, but he's mainly focusing, and I truly believe, just for the record, I don't believe that was a knock at CM Punk. I truly believe that when it was all said and done, this is all about what's been happening with Jey Uso, because if you've been following this long-term storytelling that WWE has been doing, Drew McIntyre has been salty with Jey Uso for many, many months since he arrived to the red brand, right? Let's make sure we're keeping that in the back of our heads and everything, right? So as far as liars, hypocrites, essentially cowards. Okay, based on Drew McIntyre's terminology there and understanding from his point of view, Jey Uso falls into that category, especially when he brings up the fact that Jey Uso, as soon as he saw Randy Orton, he's sniveling on back to him, trying to apologize, trying to kiss up to him and all that other crap, then calls the WWE World Champion, Seth Rollins, a hypocrite as well, right? So there's a whole bunch of stuff that is at play here and everything, right? Which then brings him to his attention to Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn comes on out, tries to be the voice of reason and everything, and pretty much the fighting words right here. Hey, what would your family think about this? You think they would approve of you conducting yourself the way you've been conducting yourself so far? Drew has heard enough talk. He's ready to get it on. Called for a referee. We pretty much get into that match and everything. Coming out of there as your victor, Drew McIntyre. 20 minutes of an opener. 20 minutes of an opener to kick off Monday Night Raw. Commercials were back in full effect, of course, right? No more commercial free, but you know what? 20 minutes for a match, and essentially you had to sit through, if I'm not mistaken, I think we had to sit through 3 commercials total. I believe one commercial was right when the referee was maybe getting ready to come out, or maybe it was a few minutes after the match began. But there was definitely at least 2 commercial breaks that I recall. But still, match total, 20 minutes. That's pretty good. I love this opener. Great storytelling, great wrestling. What more could you want right here? Also, the physicality, the verbal language that went into all of this. I mean, this was just badass all the way around. And I love the fact that the way Drew McIntyre's new demeanor is, he's just pretty much, okay, you know what? I'm not going to show any more reasoning. I'm not going to show any more empathy. I'm not going to show any more sympathy. I am just going to come in here. I'm going to kick your damn head off with the Claymore kick. And I'm going to do what I need to do. I am all about the W's and those checks right now. I mean, that's literally how Drew McIntyre is operating. I love this match. As far as highlights of the night, this is definitely one of those main highlights. But it gets even better. It gets even better. So we follow up backstage after Sami Zayn has just been bludgeoned to death by Drew McIntyre. I believe he was being interviewed. I'm not really sure, but he was backstage. Next thing you know, Drew McIntyre follows up, just sucker punches him from behind, beats this dude down. Okay? Just when we thought Drew was done, he got everything out of his system inside the ring. No. We are seeing a unhinged Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre freaking snapped tonight, and I loved it. As he was just beating the holy you-know-what out of Sami Zayn, telling him, you brought this on yourself, dog, okay? You brought this on yourself. And he made sure, insult to injury, as he did focus on Sami Zayn's left ankle throughout the match, he made sure he homed in on it in that backstage joint as he did this jumping stomp on it and everything. So you're kind of led to the impression that maybe Sami Zayn's ankle, maybe it's sprained or potentially maybe it's broke. I'm sure we'll have a update coming up on next week's Monday Night Raw and everything, right? Now, you got Drew McIntyre in your head, right? All right, remember I was telling you about the main event and everything. Okay, now let's fast forward. Let's go to that. You remember what I said to pretty much open up in the show? I said, hey, Seth Rollins, Jey Uso, great main event match, but got a little bit of a bone to pick here. I'm not sure about you, but you guys can sound off. I wasn't a fan of the fact that we had Seth Rollins beat Jey Uso cleanly in the middle of the ring. Now, before anybody says, Jey Uso got buried there by Seth Rollins, first of all, not the time or place to use the word buried. No, Jey Uso was not buried. I thought that the way in which that main event went down, really, Jey Uso lived up to the main event moniker. He definitely showed tonight, as he already has been for the past several months now, but particularly, on this night, if you want to basically king me, you can definitely knight Jey Uso as, okay, yeah, as far as main event goes, as far as a future World Heavyweight Champion goes, yeah, Jey Uso definitely showed why he should be in that conversation and everything. By the way, I love the fact that this match went over 20 minutes as well. Because I remember it was almost around the 30-minute mark when they started doing the introductions for this main event. I'm looking at the clock going, oh, yeah, we're definitely going to have some really great storytelling here. Okay, this is good. And it was. It was a great back and forth, almost a tick for tat, kind of stealing each other's moves left and right. Right, I was loving everything that was going on here. I love the fact that Jey Uso had took a turnbuckle powerbomb, which I still cringe at. I've always cringed at Seth Rollins' turnbuckle powerbomb, way before the unfortunate thing had went down with Sting there some years back. I've always cringed at that turnbuckle powerbomb, okay? I think the move is cool. You pull it off right. I think it's cool and everything. Especially, it's cool when the other person that's taking it can walk away, yeah, I feel great, right? But I like the fact that Jey Uso came away from that. He came away from a couple of super kicks. I was expecting him to kick out of the pedigree. I'm not sure about you all, but I definitely was expecting him to kick out of the pedigree. I kind of was expecting him to kick out of the stomp as well. Foolish me, I know, foolish me. But you had all that great stuff that was going on in that main event match, which, by the way, for you guys that got the show on your DVR, those are definitely the two matches I'm talking about so far. You owe it to yourselves to go out of your way and check those two out. Those joints were definitely solid. But here's the problem. Let's go back to Drew McIntyre. We had Drew McIntyre pop up post-match, and he just delivers a Claymore out of nowhere to Jey Uso. By the time Seth Rollins sees what's going on and tries to help, I remember he did a suicide dive in between the ropes and all of that, and Drew pretty much catches him, tosses him to the side, puts Jey Uso through the announcer's table, talks trash to him as the show goes off the air. Kudos to WWE for ending it with the unhinged Drew McIntyre. I appreciate that, right? That's good. You pretty much opened up with Drew McIntyre, and you closed it out with Drew McIntyre, okay? And this whole notion about Drew McIntyre, is he a bad guy now? It's a case where, and even Drew is pretty much saying, you guys are misunderstanding me. Let me clarify to you. And it's not a case where you can't say he's justifying his actions, right? You can't really use that word, because when he explains, you're going, well, he's got his dead to rights right there. Okay, yeah, sure. What's been Drew McIntyre's biggest issue? Jey Uso's getting these opportunities, right? And yet Drew's been busting his behind week in, week out, and yet Jey Uso is able to slide his way on in there, right? I mean, you can look, when it's all said and done, you can say my man is definitely in his feelings, but that's besides the point. Here's the point. Would have been better if they had Drew McIntyre interfere in the final moments of that match. So it kind of goes back to what I said just a few seconds ago, how I wish Jey Uso would have kicked out of the curb stomp. He would have kicked out of that pedigree. I really, really wish that between one of those moves, Jey Uso would have kicked out, match would have continued on. Then you could have done some spot, some definitive spot where you go, oh, snap, for sure, Jey Uso, this is it. This is his moment. He's got this, right? Whether he goes for another Jey Uso splash, hey, third, fourth time is the charm. Surely he's got, right? Or he does some move where Rollins is knocked out. Maybe he does a series of super kicks to Seth Rollins. And at one point, he just picks him up and Rollins just collapses on maybe that third or fourth super kick. And you've got the commentators Jay's got this. This is his time. It looks like Seth Rollins is completely knocked out. He just cannot defend himself. And at this rate, if Jey Uso keeps doing what he's doing, referee's going to have to come in here and stop the match. So if Jay wants to win this championship, he's already knocked the dude's head off multiple times. Now is the time, young man. Go. Get the pin. Get the gold. Jey Uso could have easily just climbed up on that top turnbuckle, done that Uso splash, go for the cover, and then there's a yank of the ankles dragging him outside of the ring. Drew McIntyre, boom, punch him, lay him out. Referee calls for the stoppage, right? Drew's already salty as Seth as well, okay? You could have had everything go down the way it went down post-match where Drew interfered. That's the only thing. Other than that, I thought they did great with the storytelling for the main event, but that's the only thing that I would have tweaked. Let me know what you guys think, especially those of you that have saw Monday Night Raw. Let me know what you think, but honestly, no matter what, the way this has painted itself out, safe to say we're going to get a triple threat match involving all these participants for this World Heavyweight title. Yo, I'm down with that. I'm down with that. Looking forward to it. Another cool point of tonight's WWE Raw, Cody Rhodes having a talking segment. Cody Rhodes now responding to being attacked by Shinsuke Nakamura the week prior. And I just love, I don't know who was in charge of this segment, particularly just writing out some key bullet points for Rollins and everything. I'm sorry, for Cody Rhodes and everything. I don't know who was in charge of it, but I love the fact that they had Cody Rhodes out there and talk about how he remembers the first time he had ever seen the whole mist thing come about, spraying out of the mouth and everything. He talked about how he was a young kid and how terrified he was when he first saw that mist being sprayed into an opponent's face. And he said that man was none other than Japanese wrestling legend, the Great Muta. So you're going, okay, cool. And that got a mild clap from the crowd. This was an instance right here where I couldn't help but go, man, just imagine if he said that in AEW. The crowd definitely, because they know their wrestling. They know all of their, even you diehard WWE fans got to admit that. These guys know their, right? That would have got a better ovation than the mild reaction that came about. I'm just stating the obvious. I'm not throwing hate on WWE. I'm not throwing any jabs at AEW or nothing like that. It's just a friendly observation. Some of you guys may disagree with that nah, Muda, think the reaction would have been this. No, I beg to differ, because we've got enough footage now in the books where we've seen from AEW fans how they react to certain Japanese wrestlers, especially Japanese legends. They know their guys. So I just think that whole Muda line, that would have been much better received in the world of AEW. You let me know. You will probably disagree with me on that, but it is what it is. So I like how Cody linked that to Shinsuke Nakamura and everything, and pretty much said, look, hopefully now you realize that after everything that went down, okay, Shinsuke, officially, dog, you got my attention. So you can either come on out, do this man-to-man, and Shinsuke did not appear man-to-man. Instead, Shinsuke appeared via Titantron once again. And you know what? I am all fine for Shinsuke appearing on these Titantrons. I am loving Shinsuke appearing in these neon red, red district lights background. Where is he? Is he in a cellar? Is he in somebody's basement? Like, where is this guy? I don't care. I just know visually it looks stunning. It looks cool. It adds that great effect to a more sinister Shinsuke Nakamura. There's a Japanese video game that I like. I'm not going off the rails here. Stay with me. There's a Japanese video game series that I like. It's called Persona. I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard of that. But, like, some of the mannerisms, the way in which Shinsuke has gone about with this recent transformation, I'm just reminded of some of the characters from that video game. It's a great series. Look it up when you guys get a chance. So, anyway, Shinsuke appearing on the Tron talks about last week. He says, yeah, Cody, I bet your eyes burn tonight, but in time, they will open because I'm going to help open them up and everything. Because as far as I'm concerned, Cody, I helped you see what you haven't been able to see for quite some time, which is the paths that we both have been on. Dog, same story. And then you go through, and I loved how they did the compilation of showing Shinsuke winning a Royal Rumble, Cody winning a Royal Rumble. Both of these men respectfully going to the main event of WrestleMania and coming up short, right? So I loved all of that and how, hey, Cody had to climb a mountain. Shinsuke climbed a mountain as well, right? And he mentions how, like Cody, he could see the top. He could see that top of the mountain and everything. But just like Cody, he slipped, tumbled, fell right back into a bottomless pit and all of that. He also went on to talk about how both men have suffered from the same great humiliation. And he knows for a fact that the devil in Cody's mind is whispering. It's that little thing called doubt. That, yeah, this is as good as it's going to get. You're never going to get back to that point again. This was great psychological gamesmanship, gameplay at its finest. What Shinsuke was spinning to Cody Rhodes. This was some deep stuff right here. Okay, I am loving this. What's been going on with Shinsuke? This is on a whole new other level. I have been invested in this new character, this new layer of Shinsuke. The other thing that I love about Shinsuke, I love how there are so many meanings when he smiles at you. Okay? Because you can take the way he is smiling at you and you can go, yo, I swear to God, this man's going to kill me. Right? Because he's got one of those demonic, like, this dude's up to no good kind of smile. Mischievous, backstabbing, psychotic, misleading. There are so many ways to interpret that smile of his, right? So I also love how you've got that thrown into the mix. Just overall, the presentation of Shinsuke, it's very, very good. Shout out to the team that has been continuing to write for Shinsuke. And look, I don't know if Jeremy Borash might be behind some of this stuff, but whoever it is, give them a raise. Because honestly, and I'm not just saying that, I'm not overblowing my load there. I sincerely mean it. Some really good stuff there. So Shinsuke goes on to talk about how Cody has essentially, through this whole ordeal that both men have suffered, these trials that they have respectfully suffered. Shinsuke talks about how Cody has awoken Shin and that his role that he sees and his involvement with Cody is to unburden Cody. So I guess he's trying to help him see the light as well, as he wants for Cody to step in his shoes and take the respected story off of his hands, right? And we know Cody, again, good psychological thing that we got going on here. Cody's been talking about finishing the story. That's all he's been wanting to do, finish the story and everything. And now Shinsuke's saying, I'm going to finish the story for you, dog. I'm going to finish it for you. Good stuff right here. Cody retorts, saying their stories are not the same. And until Shinsuke actually stands in the ring with Cody, he can't rate, nor does he respect Shinsuke. It's never been a part of his story to run from a fight. And if they are the same, he wants for Shinsuke to prove it. Yo, This was like, I love this. This was the favorite segment of the night. I love this. This was on a whole new other level, man. Seriously, this was some good stuff right here. Loved it. Some other stuff that had went down on tonight's WWE RAW. Good developments with the storytelling. Definitely some good developments with the storytelling. Judgment Days, Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonough went up against the Creed brothers. By the way, I love the cameo appearance there by R-Truth. We had R-Truth hanging out in the Judgment Days clubhouse again as he called himself bearing a really nice gift. It's the thought that counts, right? He bust out, I don't know if that was a Zenith television or a RCA. I mean, he went retro. R-Truth went back and got a TV from like 1993, okay? He got a TV from 1993, the traditional box and everything. Joint had the static going. Looks like it was shown in black and white. Judgment Day's wondering what the hell is going on with R-Truth. More so, what's the boy's name? Damian Priest. He's like, the hell are you doing here, man? We told you need to roll out. And we've got R-Truth, dog. You know, I came bearing gift. I brought a TV for you all and everything, right? It's a somewhat of a flat screen TV, okay? It's got a nice LED screen, and it's like, that is not an LED screen, Truth. Like, what the hell, man? And I just like the fact that I think we already passed the month for mental health awareness. I just love the fact that these guys, they know that R-Truth is off his rocker, and they're being ever so patient, especially Damian Priest. They're being oh so patient with this guy. But at the same time, they don't want to have anything to do with this man. I love it. I love it. He made another appearance later on in the night as he had walked down the ramp standing near JD, and they kind of had to tell him to take a hike and everything. But we had Judgment Days, Dominic Mysterio, JD McDonough taking on the Creed brothers. Creed brothers picking up the win. They are continuing to string the victories together, man. I'm telling you, them Creed brothers, I'm loving those guys. I'm loving those guys tremendously. They have really, look, dare I say it, this may ruffle the feathers of some people, but dare I say, the future, the career, the promise of these men, trajectory-wise, they keep it up. They could be right up there with FTR. They could be right up there with FTR. If not, maybe even surpass it a little bit. Because, let me explain. If you ask me if I see one area where the Creed brothers need to improve, in any area, I would say, yeah, the personalities, the promos, they gotta polish that up, right? Nobody's saying that they gotta be out there and they gotta be, sounding like Road Dogg and Billy Gunn. Nobody's saying they gotta get to that level and everything, but they just need to brush up on that just a little bit more. But if they can finally nail that down, oh man, look out. But I mean, their work alone, man, it speaks great volumes. I'm really loving these guys. I'm just ecstatic that I was able to see a good bulk of these guys in NXT before they moved on to the main roster. And I tell you what, they've been gelling so well with everybody that they've come in contact with so far since they've been on the red brand. Love it. Love these guys. Good stuff right there. Of course, big question, what's going on there with Imperium? What's up with Imperium? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm just picturing a few people that's going, what's going on with Imperium? Much the same as usual, right? The whole miscommunication between Giovanni Vinci, Ludwig Kaiser, right? This is your fault. It's your fault. Gunther's going to be pissed. Yeah. Tell me something I don't know. 2 out of 3 falls match. DIY going up against Imperium. Imperium picking up the first win. DIY picking up the second fall. DIY picking up the third. This guy, great storytelling. as well, about 15 minutes. Great showcasing for your tag divisions on tonight's Raw, as I just gave the nod to the Creed brothers and everything. It's another good nod right here. Say what you will about DIY. Look, DIY, it's still in the oven. It's still baking. We're somewhat still in that honeymoon period and everything in regards to DIY. But I tell you what, I wish that these were the type of matches that Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano could have been having when they were initially on the Raw brand. I really wish out of the gate this, because, I mean, it just went, you were excited when you finally saw them on either Raw or SmackDown, but then that excitement just nosedived really quickly, right? So they keep stringing together some really great, even if it's in defeat, they keep stringing together some really good tag team performances like what they did tonight and have been off and on the past couple of weeks. Goodness. But this tag match tonight, love the synergy, chemistry between all four men. Kaiser particularly. I keep looking at Kaiser, Ludwig Kaiser, and I'm going, you know what? This boy Kaiser, he's got a bright career ahead of him as a solo act. He really, really does. I'm just looking at him and I'm going, man, there's so many things. Like, I'm just picturing, like, if I was a promoter and I'm able to work with a guy like Ludwig Kaiser, I'm going, man, I'm going to make you the new masterpiece Chris Masters, right? I mean, because he's just got this amazing freaking look, but I'm going to amp it up a notch. I'm going to do something along the lines of masterpiece Chris Masters meets, I had the guy's name on the tip of my tongue. The model, Rick Martel. That's the name I was thinking of. I'm going to do some type of a weird combination like that. Maybe I'm going to do vignettes where I've got Ludwig Kaiser chilling at some resort, and, you know, he's in some Speedos or whatever, and there's women just rubbing baby oil on him, and he's got shades on, and he's just, I'm so used to the finer things in life. I accept nothing less. I'm just picturing him going there, okay? He's got a really, from the ring, personality that's been flushing out a little bit. There's so much great potential. I wish I could say the same for Giovanni Vinci. Not quite there yet. Not quite there yet. Not saying he's bad. I'm just not quite there yet, unfortunately. Hopefully I'll get there in due time. Tegan Nox, Natty, taking on Kaden Carter and Chance. Kaden Carter, Katana Chance picking up the win. You know, pretty short match, all said and done. Short, to the point. Hey, can't really complain in regards to that. So looks like potentially Kaden Carter and Katana Chance are going to be future contenders to take on Piper Niven and Chelsea Green for those women tag titles. Let's see. What else came about from tonight's WWE Raw? Was it Shayna Baszler? I think Shayna Baszler. I know Nia Jax. Yeah, Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax. They were in action tonight. I know Becky Lynch was interviewed backstage, and before it could really get nice and hot as far as that backstage interview segment, Nia Jax had crashed the scene. So, you know, it looks like WWE's been toying around the idea of these two women, and Nia and Becky, you know, locking up, kind of building off of that history so many years back from the infamous bloody nose Becky has sustained from Nia and everything. Shayna Baszler taking on Nia Jax. I'll be honest here. This isn't saying a lot, but since Nia has been back in WWE, this was, without a doubt, one of her better matches. Again, since she's been back. Now, some of you guys may hear that and you may say, well, damn, dog, that's not really saying too much. And I would say to you, you are correct, okay? It's not much, okay? Right? It's kind of one of those, great, you were able to put on a sufficient match, okay? Cool. Shayna, you go back and watch this match. Shayna was really the beast of burden in this matchup. She was really the one that was making this all stick together. My girl Shayna was the one that ultimately made Nia come off looking a lot better than Nia has been in previous weeks. Plain and simple. Post-match, Becky Lynch appeared, came out to chase Nia out of the ring because Nia tried to add more insult to injury on Shayna Baszler and everything. So, obviously, that's going to circle back, and who knows, maybe we'll see something with these girls play out on television over the next couple of weeks as opposed to a pay-per-view. We'll have to wait and see how everything plays out with that. But in regards to tonight's WWE Raw, I gotta be honest with you guys, because as Raw was playing in the background and I'm watching it in my living room, I'm spending time playing with my 3 dogs, and I'm also decorating our Christmas tree. And I'm looking, and not mainly because of the dogs and the Christmas tree, but no, tonight's show was actually a very enjoyable episode. It was popping. It was popping almost in every single aspect tonight. Well executed. I loved it. Again, main highlights for me was definitely the Shinsuke Nakamura stuff and the Cody there. I love the continuation of R-Truth and his involvement with the Judgment Day. Speaking of Judgment Day, Damian Priest, bit happy that Mommy Rhea Ripley wasn't there tonight. Not sure what's up with that, but yeah, she made no appearance whatsoever tonight. So this got him an opportunity to flex his muscles a little bit, especially when Dom was trying to say, hey, Mommy said, and Damian's like, well, Mommy's not here tonight, so I'm in charge, right? That would have been a great time for him to say, Daddy's in charge, kind of do a little bit of a knock there on Randy Orton and everything. But really a great episode. If you guys got it on your DVR, definitely check it out. Check it out. Good stuff, good stuff. All right. Let's talk about some other stuff as far as wrestling headlines and all that good stuff goes. Hopefully you guys been enjoying the show so far. We blazed through that Raw recap real quick too, by the way. I think we went through that honestly in like about maybe 35 minutes, give or take. Hang on here. Yeah, I think we did that in about 35 minutes, give or take. That's good. We're finding our groove. I love when we are able to find our groove and just go right at it and everything. So some other stuff that we can get into. I kind of want to make sure that we're going in a particular order, because I know some of you guys like to read the synopsis for episodes. So rather than have everything be all spammed out and, hey, you said this topic was coming up, but you didn't go there yet. What happened? So I'll mention, damn, that hurt. Trying to do that voice, that actually hurt. I need some water after that. That actually kind of hurt. But hey, man. Yeah, that kind of hurt my throat a little bit. I will say this. Thank you to those of you that had went out of your way and wished me a happy 12th anniversary, because we did a 12th anniversary show last Wednesday. It's always around the last week of November that our anniversary hits, for those of you that want to try to remember for the near future and you guys weren't around. I know we had some tech issues because you guys weren't able to hear the final 10 minutes of the show, because the show only went about an hour, 41 minutes long. So what I ended up doing was anytime I get ready to do the shows live, I always have it recording in the background, just in case something weird happens. I can rely on that backup, upload it later. So that's exactly what I did. I uploaded the backup, so the full length of the show is available. I also made sure I put it up on the downloads as well, as far as the audio version goes and all that. So 12 years though. How about that? 12 years already. Time just freaking flies. But thank you to everybody that had wished me a happy 12th anniversary for the shows. Thank you. I appreciate that. So some other stuff that we can get into here on the show here. Let's talk about Ringside News for a second. Now, I don't know how many of you guys are aware of this wrestling news publication. I have been aware of Ringside News and its founder, Steve Carrier, for a number of years now. True story, at one point throughout social media. This would have included also on YouTube as well, but definitely back when Twitter was in effect before it became X. Steve Carrier, Ringside News, had followed me for the longest time. And I remember I ultimately ended up blocking Ringside News / Steve Carrier several years back because I was noticing certain things that I would say, and almost word for word, almost frame for frame, Steve Carrier or whoever was running the social pages was putting it on their joint, making it seem like this was there. And it's like, whoa, what the hell? Right? So, that kind of rubs me the wrong way when people do that, right? I mean, at least paraphrase, put your own unique spin to it, and make it your own, right? I mean, at least do that. Nah, it was just blatantly word for word, and it was like, yeah, okay, you know what? You can miss me with that. I'm good, right? But Steve Carrier, Ringside News, these guys have been involved in some of the most WTF moments on social media within the last 5 years. And it just really had hit the fan earlier today because we've got this guy. I'm trying to figure out what the poor guy's name is. Is it Aaron? I don't know why, but I'm picturing the name Aaron. Let me just go and look at stuff I had liked on Twitter. I initially saw this on X, formerly known as Twitter, and it was just, what the hell? And I immediately had shared this in the Discord and everything. Is the guy's name Aaron? I'm trying to think. Yeah, his name is Aaron. And he does this YouTube video where he talks about the truth about working for Steve Carrier at Ringside News. And the synopsis for it goes, I worked for Steve Carrier at Ringside News for 6 years. This is just a part of my story. So I want to run some audio for you guys. We haven't done that in a good minute, right? I want to run some audio for you guys. And I want you all to hear this because this is just WTF. Seriously. Now, just to give you guys a little bit of a recap, Steve Carrier, he has been salty towards Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful for many years now. I think when you get right down to the heart of the matter, to quote one of my favorite Don Henley songs, it is a case of Jen Blossom's hate jealousy. Honestly. And, it's weird. They say competition brings out the best in everyone. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've always been one of those type of people who, if I see somebody is, okay, that's exactly eventually where I'm trying to be. And I see that they're doing a little bit better than me. I'm not going to be jealous at them. If anything, I'm going to be a big old sponge, and I'm going to be like, hey, dude, or, yo, homegirl, let me holler at you for a second. Okay, so what are you doing? Like, give me some tips. Give me some tricks. Like, come on, give me some advice. I'm going to be a big old sponge. I want to absorb as much information as I can. I'm not going to be hating on a mofo, right? And I'm not asking for a handout. I'm just saying, yo, give me tips, right? That's it, plain and simple. Well, Steve Carrier, he's pretty much taking it to a whole new other level. So this runs about maybe 4 minutes or even less than that, maybe 3 minutes, but it's definitely worth it. So this is Aaron Varbell, who did work for Fightful, again, for 6 years. He worked, apparently, from what I was seeing on social media, it looks like he was handling, at some point, their social media page. I know Steve accesses the social media page as well, besides having his own personal account, which I'm glad he has that, because a lot of us were telling him in the previous years, dude, some of this stuff that you're putting out here has no business being associated with this account, because this is your business account. Like, separate the two. What the hell, man? But still, they continue to overlap. So let's load this up.
So, I was fired today. This is supposed to be a video where I'm just going to let people know exactly what I've been dealing with over the past 6 years or so. I've been writing for Ringside News. And you can imagine how Steve Carrier is to deal with on a daily basis, because everyone's seen how he is online. He's abusive. He makes fun of me. Basically doesn't let me have a good day. If we're having a good day traffic-wise, he'll find some reason to get upset. Every one of his social media outbursts that I'm sure everyone is well aware of, I had nothing to do with. That's not me. All I wanted to do was write professional wrestling news. That's it. That's all I wanted to do since I was a kid. I grew up reading Raw magazine, wanting to be like Vic Venom, Vince Russo. Everyone knows it's Vince Russo now, but I didn't know at the time. I just thought it was dope. I wanted to do it. So I worked my ass off to get a master's degree, thinking maybe that would help me. And eventually it did help me land a job.
Let's pause for a second. Now, I just want to home in on something. So you hear the passion in his voice, okay? And to the point, you hear about how he was so fascinated with the world of professional wrestling. And you hear about how, I used to read the Raw magazines back in the day. I love the Raw magazines back in the day, by the way. I'm mad because my entire collection that I had, I collected it for almost 10 years. 10 years. They all were in a box at my mom's house over now 20-something years ago. And I kept wanting to go back to pick up that box and some vintage WWE figures that were still in its original packaging. And my mom just kept going, oh, it's safe here. It's fine. There's no reason. And, I don't know what the hell happened to it. All that stuff just disappeared. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. My disappeared, okay? Disappeared. That's all I'm going to say. But anyway, let's home in on something here. So you're infatuated with this so much so that you say to yourself, okay, I want to pursue a degree so that I can write for, wrestling sites and all that, right? Let's just back that up a little bit.
In pro wrestling, Vince Russo. Everyone knows it's Vince Russo now, but I didn't know at the time. I just thought it was dope. I wanted to do it. So I worked my ass off to get a master's degree, thinking maybe that would help me. And eventually it did help me land a job in pro wrestling writing.
I can tell you, as somebody that has been involved working for many wrestling websites over the years, Aaron, right down to the point, little unknown fact, for those of you that remember TNA Insider from back in the day, okay? At one point, the person that originally was in charge of the TNA Insider website, he fell out of love with TNA. And it was unfortunate, right? But there was a select group of us. There was about 5 of us that was going, well, we're still, we still have this great following here on this website. Impact Wrestling, TNA, they're definitely checking out what we're doing. It got to a point where they were giving us exclusive interviews with the talents. And it was really, really cool back in the day and everything. But when the owner had fell out of love with TNA, he decided, okay, you know what? I don't want to be involved in the whole wrestling stuff anymore. Like, I'm done. And then it was a case where, okay, well, you know what? You're done. I will let us continue to operate, then we'll do all the work. And, you can just kick back and keep collecting whatever ad revenue that you're getting from the site and everything. And it turns out one of the main reasons why this guy fell out of love with TNA and didn't want to do anything with the site anymore and everything is because he did not have, on the back end, he did not have the site monetized in any type of way. There wasn't even, when I go back and I think about it now, there wasn't even any Google ads that were like splash pages and all that. He didn't even have that going on. Okay? And so we're like, wow, okay, whatever. So we're like, okay, whatever. There's like 5 of us. We can just keep it going and everything. And I had made a pitch that, okay, you know what? Let's have this be a case where me and I think the other guy's name might have been Jose. It might have been Jose or Juan. I'm not really sure. But me and him were going to be the main 2 guys. We had decided that, you know what? The website, it can just be us. We could be the main 2, right? We're the co-owners. We could be the main ones. So we were doing good, man. We were doing good. And keep in mind, I'm bringing this up to make this main point. This was many years ago, and I didn't have no master's degree. I just was in the right place at the right time, as was some of the other people. Now, the guy that used to own TNA Insider, he starts seeing the moves that we're trying to do and everything, right? So he decides that, hey, if you guys want the name, if you guys want to get the URL and, you want to officially have the site, you guys got to pay me. And I think back then, I think he wanted like somewhere between $5 grand to $10 grand. And it was like, wait, what? We were like, wait, what? Say what? Yeah, I want to be compensated for what I have put into the site and everything, and I want minimum $5 grand, but I can take as high as 10 grand, and I remember back then I looked up, because there's a way that you can look up and see, okay, so how much is this website really worth? And it was nowhere worth that. And that pretty much had officially ended TNA Insider. But no, man, you don't need to have no freaking... Let me just burst that bubble right now. As somebody that has worked for a few different wrestling websites, you do not need... You got reverb going on. You do not need a master's degree to work for a wrestling website. You know what you need? I'll be very honest with you. This is going to blow your mind. You're not going to believe this. 1, you need to know how to write. You need to know how to put personality into it. You need to know how to sound energetic about the things that you're talking about without it sounding extremely boring, while also at the same time being informative. There's another piece to that puzzle. Spell check. Spell check is your best friend. Grammarly is your best friend. I can't tell you how many articles, how many reports I've typed up. And I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you guys. When I upload those pieces of work into Grammarly, I'm usually averaging anywhere between 80 to 83, 84% out of 100 as far as my piece being checked for grammatical errors, pronunciations, punctuations, all that, right? And then by the time Grammarly does what it needs to do, I'm looking at as high as a 96, 97, 98. I always score high in, by default, I usually score high in clarity of what people are trying to read, delivery, overall, everything, the way it's structured, how's the delivery? Is it easier for people to understand? I usually by default score pretty good on that, but by the time I put it in Grammarly and have it all cleaned up, I get even higher marks, to the point I get the check marks letting me know, hey, you're good here. We can't find anything else. That is all you need. All that combined, that is all you need. You don't need no master's degree, right? Just want to burst that bubble right now. And furthermore, I don't know about you guys, right? Aaron seems like a good dude and everything, but if I was able to get a master's degree in, writing, journalism, or whatever, to each his own. I don't quite know if I would be going, hey, I'm good. Now I'm going to go see if I can get something with a wrestling website. Nah, man, I'm taking that and I'm trying to see if I can do something with my local news. You're right. I'm trying to build up the portfolio that way, but I digress. Let's keep going.
A different website job and a different website job. And then Steve offered me way too much money. And I said to him, okay, I'll work for you, but I won't use my real name, because he was already toxic. But my goal was to fix that. But no, it didn't. We would take 3 steps forward and 5 steps back. He would backslide. He would create these weird conspiracy theories in his head. And now he's found himself getting arrested. And so everyone wants to hear about the latest arrest. Okay? Well, all you gotta do is get on the dude's Twitter and figure it out for yourself.
Let me pause right there. So Steve put out like these really weird tweets within the past 48 hours. And he has since tried to rebuke some of the stuff that this guy, Aaron, has put out there and everything. He says, one, in regards to Aaron, I literally was doing payroll, was getting ready to break him off for the past few months of his service and other people. And he was like, blah, blah, blah. Somebody else that works for Ringside News, can attest to this. What this guy is saying, it's nothing but lies. And then he also talks about the fact that I guess a now ex-girlfriend of his, but somebody had tried to come into his house. And there was some type of a physical altercation, and cops had to be called in regards to that. You give me a second, I can actually pull up the tweets that's in question right now for you guys. But it seems like ever since Aaron had put out this video, Steve hasn't really done anything on the Ringside News Twitter page. I'm trying to see if he even deleted some of the stuff that was posted earlier by Aaron, because Aaron was very quick to put out those YouTube videos on the Ringside News page, and it looks like he did. It looks like Steve Courier did delete that stuff. So actually, give me a second here. So Steve Courier, yep, there he is. Let's see if he's done any deleting or, some other weird crap that's gone down. So he's responded to a couple of people. One guy saying, damn, that's messed up. Good luck with that, my guy. Steve saying, it's seriously the truth. Most normal dudes understand. I'm working 1 minute and bitch attacking me the next. Ask, and he mentions somebody. I was about to send out payments. She assaulted me midday. So he apparently got into some type of a altercation. That's why I went down as far as what happened with the arrests and all of that good stuff. I know that Aaron had shared a screenshot with Steve, and he was telling him, hey, look, it looks like you're going to be okay when this is all said and done. This is just pretty much going to be a misdemeanor. This could have been a lot worse for you, but, luckily that's not the case whatsoever. So, you're good. Hey, yada, yada, yada. Way too much drama that's going on online here. Like, there are just some things that do not need to be shared on social media. And it looks like in the time since he put up those initial posts, it looks like he tried to do a little bit of damage control, deleting some stuff. But here's the thing, And once it's out there, it's out there. It's out there. One person saying, yo, Steve sounds toxic as in regards to what was going on with this woman that he was messing around with. He's recommending to Steve do his best to get the charges dismissed, then forget about her. Steve's like, yeah, you know. Yeah, so some weird stuff that's going on here with that, right? So full context for you guys. And for anybody that's interested in seeing some of the screenshot images that Aaron is sharing with his exchange with Steve Courier at Ringside News, just look him up on, better yet, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll pop in the YouTube chat and I'll post the YouTube link for you guys. But you can always look it up in YouTube by typing in the truth about working for Steve Courier at Ringside News, and that's how you'll be able to find it. Okay, let's go on. There's like 2 more minutes left.
Well, Jim, a tag.
We ain't ready for Jim Cornette yet. Let's go there
and figure it out for yourself. Okay? There's some crazy stuff going on, but in the end, he blamed me for everything. I don't know how, but he did, because he is an abusive drunk. I mean, it's just what it is. He needs help. He doesn't need a website. So, I don't have a job now. I told him to officially fuck himself in every way I possibly could. He wants to pass the blame off to everybody else in the world when he brings this chaos upon himself. There are days when everything's going fine. And then all of a sudden, he just wants to, throw about 15,000 tweets at Sean Ross Sapp, throwing shade at him for no fucking reason except for the fact that he's jealous of the fact that Sean Ross Sapp is pulling in the bread he is. That's what it is. So, fuck you, Steve. Fuck you, Steve. Fuck you, Steve. A little bit of a late edit. But as I was doing this video, cocksucker Steve released a video I had put out where I was begging for my job. You see the level of intensity and the hopelessness and the fear is what the bread he is. He just wants to...
Now go back. Hang on. Home man on that. Steve released a video. We're going to play it again.
Throw about 15,000 tweets at Sean Ross Sapp, throwing shade at him for no fucking reason except for the fact that he's jealous of the fact that Sean Ross Sapp is pulling in the bread he is. That's what it is. So, fuck you, Steve. Fuck you, Steve. Fuck you, Steve. A little bit of a late edit, but as I was doing this video, cocksucker Steve released a video I had put out where I was begging for my job. You see the level of intensity...
Let's pause right there. I actually, the video is very, it's sad to see. It's really sad to see. And I'll play the audio of that video for you guys. I never like seeing a grown man cry and begging towards another man to not fire him, not like, just listen to this.
Steve, I swear I just want happiness. I just want to get along, man. Please. Please don't fire me. I swear to God. I give you everything I can. I was worried. I'm sorry. Please, Steve, this is literally everything to me. I give this everything I have every day of my life. Please, Steve, don't fire me. Please, please.
Should y'all hear that again? Let's hear that again.
Steve, I swear I just want happiness. I just want to get along, man. Please. Please don't fire me. I swear to God. I give you everything I can. I was worried. I'm sorry. Please, Steve, this is literally everything to me. I give this everything I have every day of my life. Please, Steve, don't fire me. Please, please.
First of all, Aaron, whether you were putting up a front or whatever, let me talk to you for a second, brother. Let me tell you something. A lot of people, and I've already been hearing, a lot of people have found that video to be hilarious, by the way. Look, I'm going to break it down to you, plain and simple. You are an adult. You're a man. You ain't got no reason whatsoever to be begging somebody to not fire you. Jobs will come, jobs will go. You just got to keep trucking along, keep pushing yourself. There's always somebody hiring out there. Always somebody. It's a terrible feeling when you get fired. Trust me, I know. In my entire life, in my almost 43 years of being on this planet, I have only been fired twice. One of which I didn't even do anything wrong. The manager was just having a whole conniption over the fact that 10 minutes before my shift was over, he didn't like the fact that my uniform, my top, was unbuttoned, and, you know, that pretty much, it's like, okay, whatever, right? The other one was justified, did the rights. As I always tell people, your bosses and all them, they're not the ones that fire you. You fire yourself when you're not doing your job. And that first time that I got fired, being honest, I wasn't doing my job, right? But many jobs will come and many jobs will go. I forgot the stat, but like there's this fun stat that's out there that says that people are going to go through about maybe 15 to 25 different jobs before they land on their official career path, you know, whatever their passion and all that is. Like, they're going to go through so many different hats of employment before they find the one that they really, really enjoy and are pretty much sticking to that until they get nice and old and everything, right? And pretty much retire off of that, right? Man, and I, not just to Aaron, but just to anybody, you know, never beg. You're better than that. Never freaking beg. If your boss were to call you into the office tomorrow or by the end of the week and pretty much say to you, yo, your services are no longer needed, or we're downsizing, whatever crap they want to come at you with, but when it's all said and done, you're all out of a job, I'm not going to hit you with that dumb song from back in the day. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy now. No, I'm not going to come at you and hit you with, no, bump that. I hate that song, by the way. Can't stand it. Ugh. Anyway, no, what I am going to tell you is, okay, look, it's not the end of the world, but it's 2023. If you need a little bit of money to tie you over until you're able to find a permanent gig, my dudes, my dudettes, you've got Instacart, you've got freaking Lyft, you've got Uber. There are like so many options that are available. So like, first thing I'm asking you, are you driving? Because if you're driving, you definitely gonna be all right. Now, you may say to me, well, Lee, I'm one of those people. I'm not driving. Okay, you're not driving? Then you're going to have to go old school. You're going to have to go old school like the way it usually was done back in the day before you started driving. Go around your neighborhood. Check out the stores. Check out the little strip malls, all that other stuff. Strip shopping plazas, all that other stuff. Find out who's hiring. Put in an application. Get the ball rolling ASAP and everything, right? But it's not the end of the world. You just got to know how to freaking hustle. But to my men out there particularly, don't ever let another man have that type of control over you where you're doing a video begging, damn near crying for your job. Damn, that just, anyway, let's finish this out.
The level of intensity and the hopelessness and the fear in my fucking voice and my eyes, you don't get that way without years of abuse beforehand, pulling the rug out from under me. I had no job security at any time. He threatened me to fire me over anything for years, kept me...
Gotta pause right there. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of old school like that. Like, if you're going to hit me up a couple of times, you're going to throw some verbal jabs. You're going to say, a 5-year-old could do this job. You better clean up your act, or, whatever. If you are threatening me a couple of times, I'm already going to do XYZ that I need to do as far as moves to get myself in a better position where I don't have to worry about if it's really that toxic. I don't care how good the money is. If I got a boss that is being that downright rude, I'm already planning my exit strategy. I'm trying to see whatever job interviews I can get, you name it, but I'm definitely going to blindside this mofo when they least see it coming, and I'm going to bounce.
I was locked in my computer 20 hours a day, and I didn't have any choice but to work that way because he would find someone else to do it. He's just going to go find a bunch of Indians, is what he said. You don't have me anymore, and you think I just cut and copy and paste and shit? All right, well, have fun with your WWE sources that you're going to be making up now because nobody will fucking talk to you in the company like they've been talking to me. By the way, you want to blame Sean Ross Sapp and Jesse the Buckeye for doxing you? You doxed yourself, you dumb, drunk motherfucker. Fuck off. Here's a little addition at the end because I just keep adding things to this video. Steve called me. He keeps calling me. He's blowing me up now on Facebook Messenger like crazy. He's promised to delete the video. He hasn't. He's drunk as fuck. He accidentally called me with a video, and he's like in a car driving. I don't know where he is, but he's driving a car drunk as fuck right now. And he told me to kill myself. So here's that audio.
Hey, Steve.
No, I'm gonna delete the video. I'll do it right.
Kill yourself. Here's what's happening.
Yeah, you can hear it at the end there. Yeah, fuck you, Steve.
I mean, that is the serious level of toxicity. We've all known, like, for years that this Steve Carrier guy, he is just, wrestlers have jumped out there. So many people have jumped out there. I don't see how in 2023 people are still gravitating towards this guy and his site for wrestling news when there are more comparable, less atrocious websites that's out there where mofos aren't doing anything wrong. They are just giving you the news without any type of freaking drama. I mean, seriously. Seriously, it's 2023. Why are you guys still messing around with Ringside News? I stopped messing around with Ringside News like about 4, maybe 5 years ago, because it was just like, ugh. It's kind of one of those deals where it's like, wait a minute, you mess with Ringside News? Like, when's the last time you got an STD check? It's kind of one of those type of deals, right? I mean, you could tell just by looking at some of these pictures of this Steve guy that this guy does not look right. That something is off. That something is off. This is the first time we've heard this guy get into freaking trouble. I hope whatever is going on with the guy, in all sincerity, I know some people have called this guy a racist. They've called him all kinds of, whether it's true or not, I could care less. But whatever is going on with this guy, spiritually, emotionally, and all that, I just hope that the guy can get the help that he needs, clean himself up, and, seriously, when you're trying to run a business, there's certain ways that you need to run that business, and if there was a time, now more than ever, where he needs to get his house in check and, really let the people that he's hiring, let it be about, okay, you're hired, to do this. I mean, I'm having a hard time believing that Aaron was working like 20 hours a day for this guy, and to say he's pretty much locked inside of his home. He can't really. But wait a minute. You just said a couple of minutes prior to that this man gave you so much money that it was more than what you expected, right? Like, you didn't have the heart to say to him, yo, this is too much money. You gotta cut some of that, right? So if you're in there in your home for 20 hours a day, but the money is really, really good, I don't really see and understand what is there to complain about. Do you guys? And again, if there was such a high level of toxicity over the years that he kept being threatened and this kept going down and all this other crap, then again, it's okay, well, why continue to keep doing that? Why continue to be involved in that toxic, verbally abusive type of a business relationship, arrangement? Why not go and I'm looking at this guy, he seems like an older guy. I'm seeing a little bit of gray in this guy's beard. So it's kind of one of those, what's the real deal here, man? Like, some of this stuff kind of makes me question the validity, right? It kind of makes me question the validity. Yet at the same time, hearing something negative about this guy doesn't surprise me whatsoever. Doesn't surprise me whatsoever. Now, I tell you something that was pretty cool over the weekend. Sean Ross Sapp. I don't follow Fightful. Nothing personal. I just don't follow them. I don't know what it was. It was like kind of weird. They followed me for the longest. I followed them. I don't know. It seemed like ever since I had joined 401 Mania like over 2 years ago, it was kind of like, well, unfollow. And it's kind of like, damn, it's like that? I'm like, oh, go. Okay, all right, cool, whatever. Like, y'all still cool in my book. Like, seriously. Rob, I like Rob. Rob's cool as hell. I like Sean. Sean's cool as I don't know what. But Sean did something really cool over the weekend. He had wrestled for a event, and it was all for charity. And I thought it was really cool. Of course, he's been catching a little bit of flack online from some of the haters out there and everything. Oh, he couldn't go through the table right. He couldn't do a drop toe hold right. He couldn't. I mean, there's just so much, right? Man, you can say you're going to cough up $10,000 and it's all for charity because you're doing this really cool thing and all that. But there's always going to be somebody out there that's going to be freaking hating. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But I thought that what he did over the weekend, that was really cool. I lost track of how much money they had generated. I'm trying to see if I can find it on his X page. But yeah, I mean, I looked at the joint. Some of the moves that he did, very fluid, very crisp. He gave props to the people that had trained him and everything going into that. And it turns out this is not his first time doing a wrestling match. He has done a great number of wrestling matches over the years, but this was the first time ever that he had faced a woman. Which, is interesting. You wouldn't know that, by the way. Some of the people were negatively commenting on this, as a lot of people were saying, he's trying to make himself look good by wrestling another woman. They were saying something like along those lines, but it turns out he never wrestled a woman before, not until what went down over the weekend. And the person that he had faced was Shaza McKenzie. That's the person that he had wrestled. And the match was for charity as they donated the money to NAMI. Is that how you pronounce it? NAMI.org. So he even took a damn spot through a table, which was kind of cool. The table could have been angled a little bit more direct in the corner. I can't wait to see if Botchamania is going to play around with some of that footage or not. You've made it. You've made it when you freaking have hit Botchamania. So we'll see. But that was a nice, good feeling from over the weekend. I had enjoyed seeing that. So good stuff right there. Shout out to Dirty Dutch Mantell. Dutch Mantell, not doing too good. Not sure how many of you guys are aware of this. I'm definitely a fan of Dutch Mantell. Very rare that I comment on some of his clips on YouTube. I'm usually just kicking back, just listening and everything. But apparently Dutch Mantell has been hospitalized this week after coming up sick. He had posted on Facebook recently giving an update to fans, basically saying he's going to be in the hospital for a while. He put out a short message that reads, "Okay, guys, here's for those who've been looking for me. Let me catch everybody up. In a nutshell, I've been very sick. There are packages missing and parcels that I've misplaced. But guys, I'll make it good. Just give me time. I'm praying every day for everybody's safety. For me personally, I've been admitted to the hospital here in Lutz, where I'll be for a while. I request everybody honor my family's respect to have our own private thoughts, right? Oh, understandable. I will respond to you all privately. And thank you for your patience. My daughter Amanda has been with me, helping me. So that's what's been going on with him. I'm not sure exactly the details of what exactly is going on, but I definitely wish him nothing but a speedy recovery. I've always had a soft spot for Dutch Mantell, right down to the point. I remember way before he even got involved in the world of podcasting. I remember when he was initially let go. It was while he was still with WWE, and then after he was released by WWE. I remember through at that point, a mutual acquaintance, I remember how close I came to getting him on the show. Because there was a period in time where I had loved talking old school wrestling and everything. And Dutch Mantell was somebody I wanted to try and bring on as a guest. And I remember the initial time I reached out to Dutch, he was off WWE television. And he told me straight up, he said, I'd love to do the show, but sadly, I'm still with the WWE, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to allow me to do your podcast or any podcast. And you got to remember, this was during that period in time where WWE was still frowning upon social media. They didn't fully embrace it yet. They definitely were frowning upon podcasts. They weren't fans of that. Their whole thing was, if it's not the Today Show, if it's not for Sports Illustrated, if it's not for, right, we don't want to do some mom and pop podcast. It doesn't matter what type of numbers they're bringing in. Like, forget about it. Not interested whatsoever. And that was like one of the first times I had reached out to Dirty Dutch. I remember the next time I had reached out to Dutch, this was shortly after his WWE release, and at that point, the person at the time who was my co-host, he had told me, he said, hey, I've got some connections, and he's like, I've had Dutch Mantell on my show before. Maybe we can see if we can, get him on the show. I said, oh, really? I'm like, okay, well, we'll do tell. Give me the details and everything. And this was a case where they were somewhat acquaintances, and so I had reached back out to Dutch, let him know what the deal was and everything. And Dutch was real cool. He was like, yeah, I remember you. Yeah. We couldn't do anything back then. He's like, yeah, I'm just taking it easy right now. I don't really want to do any interviews right now. I just want to relax with my family. I'm like, okay, all right, cool, no problem. So, but to my point, I've always had a soft spot for Dutch Mantell, and a couple of years back to finally had seen that he was going to dip his toes into the world of podcasting. I felt that, and this isn't me blowing any smoke, but I felt that if anybody could do a really good job in the podcasting world, some really great stories to tell and all that, Dutch Mantell definitely one of those people. And he's got a great co-host there in James. Was it James Romero? I always remember James because I go James Hetfield of Metallica, Romero, Cesar Romero, Joker, 1960s Batman. That's how I remember James's name, right? And a little. I don't know if you guys have the same issue, but that works for me. You find your own little niche, but that works for me. James does a pretty good job keeping Dutch well-grounded on topic, because we've seen enough clips. Dutch will drift off there. One thing one thing that James needs to say to Dutch off air, clean that damn microphone. Seriously, I've never seen a microphone. Go look at Dutch's mic. Dutch's mic has so much hair on it. Yes, we know that's from the beard and everything, but it's like all you got to do, man, is just take one of those lint rollers. Just do it once a week or every other week. Just freaking roll that bad boy over it and you'll be good to go. You see, I don't have that problem. That's because I am just all natural right now. But even when I do have my stuff grow out, it's never gotten to that point where, it's like, what the hell? I'm telling you, nothing is more, dude, what the hell is that? Than when you are looking at the YouTube clips of them talking on a 4K TV. And it's like, for me, I got a 72-inch 4K, right? Crystal UHD. So, like, I can see, like, every single... I don't even have to squint. I see everything. And, like, I remember, like, a couple of weeks ago, I'm looking at his mic all of a sudden. Because I do that sometimes. My eyes will drift, especially since I'm an audio tech guy and all that. I'm like, oh, kind of equipment you're pushing. Okay, yeah, that's actually pretty good. Like, I just look at freaking Dutch's bike and I'm like, damn, that mic is dirty. Like, what the hell? I pulled a Beavis and Butthead moment there. It's like, ha ha ha, Beavis, you need to clean your stick. It's kind of one of those type of deals. But yeah, speedy recovery to Dutch Mantell. Wishing you nothing but the best, buddy. Nothing but the best. So, interesting Nicolas Cage news. I don't know if you guys had heard about this, but Nicolas Cage has let it be known that he is starting to get to that finality as far as doing movies goes, and that he's very interested in doing a TV show. And the way this had came about, he revealed in an interview, I don't know if it was with Variety. I know Variety had reported it, but he talked about how he never watched TV. That piqued my interest. Like, wait a minute, somebody that doesn't watch TV? Like, wait, what? And his son got him into watching TV. Particularly, his son got him into watching Breaking Bad. And Nicolas Cage thought that Breaking Bad was such a freaking masterpiece. And he loved it so much that he said to himself, wait a minute. Yeah, I don't know about movies, but man, TV shows, sign me up for that. So you know what? If I'm AMC and I hear that, I'm going, yo, let's see what we can come up with. See if we can make a nice, strong pitch to Nic Cage. See what we can... You got to. If Breaking Bad made that type of an impression on him, I can only imagine too. Yeah, as the interviewer, I would have followed up and been like, and maybe they did, but I would have followed up and been like, have you watched Better Call Saul? Because some people say Better Call Saul is better than Breaking Bad, especially when you get down to the final 2 seasons and everything. But like, if I'm AMC, the president of AMC, like, I'm making Nicolas Cage priority number 1 and seeing, what we can do for him as far as a TV show goes and everything. There are still people talking about the CM Punk promo from last week. I mean, it is so divided right now. It's not even funny. I know somebody who I have great respect for. Love her tremendously. We actually follow one another. Thunder Rosa. She had sounded off on fans being disappointed in CM Punk's WWE return promo and everything. Here's what she had to say. I saw that so many people were absolutely pissed and very disappointed because they were expecting Punk was going to come out and be like, let's burn this place down, and he didn't. Punk thought that he was going to critique everything, that he was going to be pissed, and instead, I think he was very sincere about him feeling the way that he felt. He felt that he has this second opportunity at his new home, and that he's trying to heal. He's really trying to move on from some of the regrettable incidents that happened prior to this. And I think that people need to understand this, and they need to understand that he's going to move on from this. He's not going to talk about it. He didn't talk about it. She also sounded off on, because remember, she's like a regular co-host now on Busted Open. So this is the highlights respectfully from that. She also had talked about the meaning of that respected promo. Give me a second here. She also talked about Punk's intent of the promo in a nutshell. That's what the promo was. It's like, I'm not going to talk about the past. I'm going to talk about the present. And I'm going to talk about the future. I mean, she nailed it so perfectly. She nailed it so perfectly. I got to be honest with you guys. And this isn't me just saying it days later and all of that. But I never was expecting for CM Punk to issue any kind of a pipe bomb moment. I was not expecting him to bring up AEW, and I'll give you the main reason why. NDA, non-disclosure agreement. I can't believe the many people that call themselves Cody Rhodes fans and everything. I can't believe how many people forgot that when it came to Cody Rhodes and him talking about his time in AEW and what officially led to his exit in AEW and everything, you know, he had said multiple times, you know, legally, I can't talk about it. I can't talk about it. He just wants to move on, and he's been, hey, I wish those guys nothing but the best. I made a lot of friends there. Some I still keep in contact with to this very day. Then when you finally got to the Cody Rhodes documentary, it was still a situation where he couldn't say cold-heartedly, but you were able to read in between the lines as far as, okay, we understand what, okay. So, and that NDA, that works both ways. That works both ways. I'm sure there are certain things that Tony Khan can't say in regards to CM Punk's exit. There are certain things that, even if it's a case where, hey, he's back in WWE, are you happy for him? He won't allow himself to even entertain that thought. He wants to just strictly keep it moving along, talk about, I think, honestly, when it's all said and done, one thing that Tony Khan and CM Punk both can agree on, whether they want to admit it publicly or not, they both just want to move on. They want to put that ordeal that had went down. There was definitely some great moments there in AEW. It's sad that we won't ever see some of the matchups. I mean, maybe we will. Maybe we will in a couple of years. Who knows? But you just think about some of those people that's on the AEW roster. I know I was looking forward to eventually CM Punk, Malachi Black. That would have been off the chains. Just, I even entertained the idea of, yo, what if you were to do something really cool where you have CM Punk, Ruby Soho, frickin' Brody Kane. What if you were to do some type of an FTR? What if you were to do some type of faction with these guys, right? Eventually running it back with MJF. There's so many more chapters in AEW that I was looking forward to with CM Punk, but it just wasn't meant to be. But I look at some of these new matchups that are on the horizon for Punk, and I get pretty excited for that when it's all said and done. But it amazes me. I know Kevin Nash had jumped out there, and he had issued some comments. And look, we know Kevin Nash has been salty in regards to CM Punk. The infamous promo back in the day. We know that still burns him. That still stings him and all that. And any chance that he's able to have, he's going to take those personal little jabs at Punk and everything. So, to my point, you know, to expect a unbiased, you know, from Kevin Nash, put it to you this way, I'm not going to go to Kevin Nash to get his thoughts on anything news related to CM Punk. As far as it truly being unbiased and being neutral about it, yeah, you can pretty much forget about that. Hey, did you guys hear Grayson Waller over the weekend? He was jumped at a WWE live event. And there's actual footage of this. I'd show it to you guys, but the way YouTube has been operating as of late, even when you're sharing something and you're reacting to it and all this other stuff, the content ID matchups and just all this other stuff, it's freaking ridiculous. You get flagged left and right. Somebody who I respect a great deal, I believe his name is Brian. I don't know. If it's not Brian, that's hilarious because I look at him and he looks like a Brian to me. But my man that has the YouTube channel, Digging the Greats, I love that freaking dude. You've probably heard me bring him up before, but dude's got a really great channel. He goes over such great music breakdowns of, you name it, rap, hip-hop, neo-soul. He did a really good video on D'Angelo's his last album, D'Angelo and the Vanguard. Was it Black Messiah? He did a really good job breaking that whole thing down. There was an MF Doom joint that he broke down, and dude's been having his own copyright issues left and right. Unfortunately, he's now pretty much taking the show fully over to Patreon. He's still going to upload stuff on YouTube, but the way the algorithm is set up over there, like even if you're uploading people's certain, like 8 seconds of music sampling and you're talking about it for educational purposes, you're laying out how the composition was played out and everything, just the fact that you got that content ID matchup, and then ultimately the publishers get involved and they're like, yeah, no, it's very, very, it sucks to be a YouTube content creator these days, because you're trying to figure out, well, what the hell can I do? And YouTube says they have my back, but when I'm showing everything, I'm laying everything out to back up, YouTube's not having my back. They're siding with what the hell. It's just really, really crazy. But yeah, Grayson Waller was jumped. This was at a New York event, and security did a really good job. As soon as that fan, a video's floating around, you can definitely check it out. Fan had jumped the barricade. Grayson Waller didn't even attack. He didn't do anything. Security was just, boom, right there. Man, they freaking headlock, take down that mofo, continue to hold him until other security detail was able to get over there, and they ejected the guy from the arena, as rightfully they should and everything. Just ridiculous. I mean, as of right now, there's no details on why the fan did what he did, and it remains to be seen if any legal action is going to be taken against this fan, but definitely ejected from the arena, most likely, as far as WWE's, hey, this person is banned from, future events. Yeah, for sure. And you got to remember, this isn't the first time that Grayson Waller has ruffled the feathers of fans. Remember, just a couple of weeks ago, back in like mid-October, he compared wrestling fans to Taylor Swift supporters, if you remember. And that had got a whole bunch of Swift fans, what do they call them, Swifties? That got a whole bunch of them lashing out at Waller. I loved it. I freaking ate that up. I enjoyed it. Look, I see this footage with this fan, and I just can't help but go, why would you do this? Like, you got a great, ringside seat. You're able to take in the action. Why? Why jumped that barricade. Why? And it looks like this was a white boy. Looks like this was a white boy that did. That's the sad part. You would think, okay, so this obviously had to have been, an immigrant, right? Somebody still kind of new to our country. It looked like this was a straight up white boy that did this. So I cannot stress it enough, people. If some of these men and women who are performing on television every single week for your entertainment, if it's gotten to the point where your emotions are just getting so worked up that you are visibly shaking and are upset at the sight of seeing that person, hearing their music, my friend, the last thing you need to be doing is going to a wrestling event. Seriously, you need to just check yourself out and, I'm trying to think, now that I think about it, I remember, and wifey is sleeping now, but there was a wrestler on the WWE roster that used to always get under her skin, and she would be so upset at them. I'm trying to think if it was maybe Seth Rollins. I'm not really sure. But I remember just at one point, I said to her, look, this is scripted television, okay? Like, they're just performing roles, okay? Like, don't take it so personal. And I remember once I had broke it down to her like that. This is still kind of early on, before she really started wising up and, learning about dirt sheets, the wrestling websites, and all that other stuff. Because now she'll just surprise me in between shows. She'll go, hey, so I heard that had happened. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, what do you think about that? Like, oh, well, it usually goes down just like that. Like, I remember when I was telling her about Tammy Sitch. I sent her a text while she was at work, and she just was floored. She was like, wow. It's like, so they, finally caught up to her, huh? I'm like, yeah, exactly. But yeah, she'll surprise me once in a while. She'll be like, hey, did you hear? Especially once in a blue moon, like if a wrestler dies, she'll be like, hey, did you ever hear of a wrestler called da-da-da-da-da? Like, no, I never heard of them. Why you mention? Oh, apparently they died. Like, really? Like, yeah. Let me research that a little more. Send me the link or something like that, right? But I remember back in the day, she used to get so pissed off. Now that I think about it, the last time she really got upset at a wrestler, she ain't gonna like me saying this. The last time she got upset at a wrestler, it was when Randy Orton had RKO'd the hell out of Beth Phoenix. She did not like that. She told me straight up, she said, I don't give a damn if it's scripted. That son of a had no business doing that to her. I'm like, oh, that was golden. That was golden, man. That was freaking golden. I loved it. Good stuff. Good times. Matter of fact, she was also pissed when Baron Corbin had did the black hole slam to Becky Lynch. I remember she was cursing up a storm back then as well. Oh, man, she did not like Baron Corbin back in the day. She did not like him back in the day. Good stuff. All right, some other stuff we can get into before we get ready to wrap it up. Remember what I said. You go to a wrestling event. You're there to enjoy the show that's being put on for you. You're not being asked to be part of the show. Literally be part of the show. You cheer, you can boo, right? Don't hop over that guardrail. You don't have a shot. There's no chance in hell. Even the women will kick your ass, okay? You've got no chance. So forget about it. Been checking out the AEW Continental Classic tournament so far. I don't particularly care about the whole point system. You can tell me it's easy to understand. I don't care about all that. I'm exhausted with AEW and tournaments like every 3 months and everything. But as I had said to the 401 Mania community in my reviews for Rampage and Collision for this past week. I said, as long as you can continue to give me matches of great caliber, like what we had got with Jay White and Swerve Strickland, hey man, I'm definitely invested. Sign me up. And I love the matches that we've been getting so far from the Blue and Gold League. I had a fun time checking out Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston. The whole psychology of that, I loved it. I freaking loved it. And it had to be one of the rare times that Eddie Kingston was not able to pull off his trademark machine gun chop to the chest. Many of us were in the comment section calling for it. We're like, we know it's going to happen. We know it's going to happen. And it didn't happen. And we're like, oh, like, what the hell? Right? They are finding their groove with that. It really is the highlight of Dynamite and Collision. Sadly, Rampage has just... I had a tough time sitting through Rampage this past week. I really, really did. I, to the point, wish that AEW would strongly consider putting up a gold and blue match on those episodes of Rampage. You know, just try to entice people to tune in and everything, you know, because it just seems like Rampage is just now in its own little world. And honestly, if you don't watch it, you're good because you ain't missed nothing. And you'll get a nice little recap of a key story arc on that weekend's Collision or Dynamite, give or take. Speaking of AEW, Jeff Hardy, we'll close out with this. Jeff Hardy has pretty much issued a pity party for himself recently on the, the Extreme Hardy Life, the Extreme podcast that Matt Hardy does and everything. I know Jeff's been popping up on there a lot more and everything. Jeff Hardy commented, the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy. Jeff Hardy recently commented on his time in AEW thus far. He compared it to WWE. And this is what he had to say. When I first came back to AEW, it was pretty exciting. I didn't know what was going to happen in the near future. But I think the last time I was in this extreme dimension of y'all's podcast, I said that in WWE, I felt like I was a ghost, just walking around backstage. Honestly, man, I kind of still feel like that at AEW, just because of not being involved in something cool. I feel like there's something so special that we, Jeff and Matt, have within us to really bring out. You know, so I hear that, and, you know, one of the first things that come into my mind is Led Zeppelin's Nobody's Fault But Mine, okay? Because I'm looking at this, and I immediately shared my thought on this as soon as I had saw this quote. I'll share it with you guys. I was blunt as hell. I said, maybe not keep driving while under the influence and getting in trouble with the police could have changed all that. Way to not take self-accountability for your decisions that has led you down the path you're on now. Man up! That was my message, man up. Seriously, where is the accountability in that? Yeah, I just shook my head at that. I'm going, Jeff, I understand where you're coming from. But at the same time, do you understand the position that you unfortunately have put Tony Khan and other people in? Do you understand that Matt Hardy, you know, he pretty much had laid down the foundation to get you in there? And it wasn't a matter of if you messed up, Jeff. It was a matter of when you mess up. I still remember I didn't say this on Twitter, but I have said it on Twitter before, and I've definitely said it here on the show, and I'll gladly say it again. I still remember when Jeff Hardy had walked out officially on WWE from that last house show that they did, and they pretty much were calling the question, oh, something's going on with him, let's have him do a drug test, all this other stuff and everything. And I remember how the fans were going, yeah, Jeff, yeah, F that company, yeah, way to stick it to the man, yeah, you tell them, Jeff, you tell them, that's right, that's how you do it, Jeff, yeah, ha, 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 all right. And I'm thinking to myself, man, most of these people that are encouraging this kind of behavior haven't worked a day in their lives, most likely, because there's a right and wrong way to do business when it comes to working for an employer. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I know when I was growing up, one of the things I was always told by my parents, when I started working was, if you ever decide such and such job is not for you, don't take the easy way out, quit that job, and then you ain't got nothing else lined up. You got to keep that revenue source of income coming in consistently. You can't have there be any of a significant gap, because the longer the gap, the more financial repercussions that's going to occur. I remember when they used to tell me, I'm like, whatever. I effed around and found out. Worst feeling in the world. I said, never again. I need to make sure I always got something going. Some type of side hustle, something. I got to make sure that never happens again. It's the worst feeling in the world. And I remember when everybody was going, yeah, Jeff, stick it. I remember I couldn't help but say, if Jeff had got to a point where he was feeling that burned out, where he was feeling that careless, he was feeling that whatever, then he really should have gone to the powers that be in WWE and say, look, this is just a house show. I am just feeling completely burned out. I'm not feeling motivated. There's just so much that's going on with me. Can y'all just pull me off the road? Let me just go home for a couple of weeks, recharge my batteries. And look, ultimately, if Jeff decided during that whole process that, he gets that time off and everything, if Jeff decided, okay, you know what, I don't think this is for me anymore, I want to get out of WWE, then at least he would have done it the right way and everything. And I remember when so many people were so excited over Jeff, oh yeah, he's coming to AEW. Yeah, he's coming to And I just remember saying, guys, so you automatically are just going to sweep under the rug everything that had went down with Jeff in WWE? Who's to say that that same behavior, those demons, don't resurface in AEW? Where are y'all going to be then when it surfaces? Not trying to say I told you so, but it's going to go down. And I remember how all of the overzealous AEW fans, they were just all, he can't go wrong. He'll be all right. He'll be in AEW. He'll have his brother, Matt. It's like, Matt's a grown-ass man. He's got a smoking hot wife, and he's got his own family he's got to be worried about. He can't continue to hold Jeff's hand. Jeff's his own man. Rise or fall, Jeff gonna have to put in the work. He gonna have to do the damn thing. Gonna have to do the damn thing. And we saw Jeff got into trouble. Right on time, right on cue. He got in trouble. What is Tony Khan and them supposed to do? Seriously. Supposed to award that behavior and just go, no. No. You got a reputation to maintain. You got to also make sure that you let the boundaries be crystal clear. You got to let it be known. And Tony Khan's connections to the the Jaguars as well, and nah, man, no. I wish I would have been the co-host on this damn thing, because I would have brought up, now, Jeff, full disclosure here, keeping it 100, we know your last set of issues that, that probably has set you back a little bit, that probably didn't get you brownie points. So, hey, have you talked to Tony Khan? Have you maybe said to Tony Khan, hey, look, what do I need to do to get back in the good graces, to where we're in a position where we can be taking on FTR, we could be facing House of Black, we could be facing Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal, we could be facing the Acclaimed, we could be facing the Guns, we could be involved with the Bullet Club Gold. Have you had those conversations yet? Well, if you haven't had those conversations yet, why haven't you? But something else that we need to remember about Jeff as well. Jeff doesn't really like talking to the powers that be. Usually he defers to Matt. So I can't help but wonder, in regards to Matt, okay, well, so we hear how Jeff has Matt taken up the mantle and spoke to Tony Khan on their behalf or whatnot, right? But we got to make sure that we're keeping it 100 here. It's like, make no mistake about it. If it seemed like there was this great buzz, there was this great honeymoon period and can do no wrong, and now things have just drastically scaled back, we know the reason why. Even after that last DUI, even once all that is pretty much, okay, that's definitely now in the books, nothing else, like, we're good. It's, but, history has shown there's always going to be a next time. So do we really want to continue to take that gamble? More specifically, do we really want to continue to take that gamble on you? And that's sadly the point where we are right now. And, if he doesn't like how things are, this is one of those, first off, man up, take self-accountability, and then don't prove it to other people. Prove to yourself that you are worthy, that you are deserving of being put in a position, a marquee position of a story arc, what have you. Do the work. Do it to do it. That's what I always say. Do it to do it. But all this stuff, man, this is nothing but a pity party. That's all it is. It's nothing but a pity party right now. And I ain't trying to hear that. And I'm sure many of you guys that had heard that, even the most hardcore AEW fan, I'm sure probably looked at that statement, heard that podcast, that portion of it, and just went, dude, like, seriously? I'm sure other people are looking at Jeff Hardy and going, yo, if he does not keep that crap under wraps, get control of those demons and leave those substances and alcohol alone, that can be a male version of Sonny. And I damn sure hope it doesn't come to that. I've always pictured, in regards to Jeff Hardy, like, if he doesn't get a grip on, I've always said two things. Either he's going to die young in some really bad, horrific accident, or just the style of wrestling he's done all these years, he's going to ultimately end up in a wheelchair, and, maybe he'll get depressed, take to the bottle, and he'll still go out at a relatively young age. Or he's going to F around and find out and get himself into a similar position that Tammy Sitch, Sonny, found herself in, and we see now she's doing 17 years. I hope none of those things go down with Jeff Hardy. He seems like, it's like you can't help but root for him. You want to root for him and everything you want, but it seems like just when everything is good, All right. Boom, out of nowhere, you get hit with a surprise. But no, seriously, I would say, what is this? December? Man, if the Hardys have not done anything truly significant by the time we see, and here's the other thing. Easy problem to fix in regards to the Hardys. Easy problem to fix. Either you incorporate, if you're Tony Khan and you're hearing that and you want to try to do your best to make those boys happy, either you incorporate them in ROH programming. You know, I know some of you guys are like, oh man, but it's behind a paywall. It's like, hey, that's pleasing your paying customers though. You know, it's better than nothing, right? But either you do that, and or in regards to Rampage, okay, you want to prove that you're deserving of, okay, we're going to keep giving you Rampage for the next little bit. Let's see how you do with that. Maybe then we'll talk. Be ready, because you just don't know. We could be coming to you for an episode of Rampage, so you and your brother, be ready. But, like, it'd be very easy for them to plug and play the Hardy Boys almost weekly on Rampage. I would rather see more of the Hardys on Rampage than Orange Cassidy. Seriously. It's the same song and dance in regards to Orange Cassidy. I've gotten to a point right now where it's like, yo, unless Orange Cassidy is defending that Intercontinental title, I personally, I don't want to see him on episodes of Rampage. Put somebody else in his place instead. That's a Powerhouse Hobbs. That's a Brian Cage. That is the Acclaimed. You know, they kind of scale back on the Acclaimed a little bit, right? That is insert whatever name you want to insert. It could work for Rampage. But Tony Khan hasn't done anything with the Hardy Boys. I would say by the time we get to spring, you know, maybe it's time. Maybe it'd be time for Matt and Jeff to really think about if they want to continue on with AEW. Start looking at those contracts and seeing if there's a way to potentially break free from them and everything. But that's that. All right, so speaking of that's that, let's stick a fork in it. Let's call it D-O-N-E done. I thought the show was going to end a lot sooner because, as I had mentioned at the top, I wasn't really feeling that good from something I had ate yesterday. It rocked me like silly, but I'm feeling a lot better now. I think the Tums had helped me, so that's good. Next edition of the RCWR Show is going to be coming at you guys on Wednesday, December 6th, 2023. I'll be live after AEW Dynamite goes off the air. We'll cover a lot more of the Continental Classic. That should be pretty solid. Some really good matches that we got coming up, too. Remember, I think the main event match, because they're going to be in Canada this week, it's going to be Christian Cage defending that TNT Championship against Adam Copeland Edge. So that is going to be, that's going to be good. I'm looking forward to that. Definitely looking forward to the Continental matches. Always say it towards the end of the show. You enjoy the content. Do me a huge favor, especially since it's free. Word of mouth. Share it with your friends. Hit up the ratings and reviews on Spotify, Apple Music / iTunes. If you're checking this out for on demand via YouTube, hit the like button. You know, supercharges the content big time. Helps get it out there to a more wider audience. Really great for discovery as well. I also want to give a shout out to a new sponsor that we are going to be working with for the next couple of months. Definitely want to make sure I show them a lot of love. If you notice, I've scaled back drastically on the sponsors that we've been working for. It'd be very easy for me to just take people's money, but now I've just gotten to a point where it's, you know what, I really want to work with people that I feel, you know what, this content is not only good, what these people are promoting, but it definitely fits our respected audience. So, you know, let's pretty much, you know, go there. And I want to give a shout out to ShopTotallyT-shirt.com. Again, ShopTotallyT-shirt.com. Want to give them a shout out. If you have a sports team, a company event that needs custom t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, polos, ShopTotallyT-shirt.com has hundreds of templates, or they can complete a completely different type of order that you have in mind. Truly, whatever you're thinking as far as customization goes, they can do it, as their guys have low minimums. They've got 4-piece for embroideries, 6-piece for printing. We're talking really excellent high quality items you can purchase online, have them shipped right to your door, and their customer service is top notch. So hit them up. Make sure you give Anthony a shout out over there at Totally. I love the name of that site, by the way. That is like a really, I remember I was playing around with it. I'm going, that is a really cool little, it's easy to remember and everything. But ShopTotallyT-shirt.com. Hit up my man Anthony over there. ShopTotallyT-shirt.com. Happy to have them on board as a sponsor. All right. Get at me on X and on Facebook. Use the keywords The RCWR Show. And until next go round, my pretty babies, I'm wishing all of y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. Take care, y'all. Peace.